Across France, people are anxiously awaiting court's decision on Friday on legality of controversial law to raise retirement age, which has fueled country's most significant wave of unrest in recent years. ArrowRight France's highest constitutional authority, Constitutional Council, is expected to decide whether to approve, amend or reject the pension amendment that would raise minimum retirement age from 60 to 64. The government of French President Emmanuel Macron used executive powers to pass the bill last month without a vote in the lower house of parliament. Striking workers blocked roads and railways, as protesters filled the streets of Paris and other French cities. Opponents of pension overhaul, including influential unions, say French workers are struggling hard to keep the minimum retirement age lower than most of their European neighbors, and that advantage is central to social contract in France. Macron portrayed the law as an unpopular but financially responsible measure to keep the country's much-loved pension system afloat as life expectancy rises. Even as protests intensify and cover a wider range of grievances, his government has so far refused to back down or compromise with the unions. The Constitutional Council, created in 1958 with bent of the Fifth Republic, is a 9-member apolitical body tasked with evaluating whether legislation conforms to the French Constitution. It currently consists 6 men and 3 women, all of whom are white and over the age 60, popularly known as the Wise. Chaired by former Socialist Prime Minister Laurent Fabius, the board also has conservative members, including former Prime Minister Alain Juppé, who spearheaded an earlier pension reform initiative that sparked mass strikes in 1995. The court can decide give the green light the entire legislation, drop some parts or reject it altogether. In first 2 scenarios, the government can then promulgate law. Macron said he wants to implement the revision by the end of this year. It is very rare for the Constitutional Council to reject a bill outright. The board will also decide whether allow citizens' referendum proposed by left-wing MPs on proposal to limit retirement age 62 people in next 9 months. Even then, the referendum must go through a legal process that may not ultimately result in a vote. The decisions come a time when Macron finds himself at the center of political storms both home and abroad. During a trip to China last week, he took a much friendlier demeanor to President Xi Jinping than those adopted by the United States and parts of Europe. He raised his eyebrows, saying it wasn't in Europe's interest to take a stand against China's Taiwan plans and fall into crises that